Hello, and welcome back to College Con. Sorry for the small delay, but we're jumping a little bit in front of where our schedule currently has us going, as Illini, Orange, and Carleton are going to be battling up here in the losers bracket. Loser will unfortunately finish top 8. Winner will have a chance to play for top 6 and beyond. My hold shift with me is Visions. And well, I know how much you love this Carleton team. We can't talk about them yet, all right, Visions? I know you're the
Fair enough.
resident
Fair
Canadian
enough.
here. Illini Orange has put together a pretty spectacular run so far. They got 3-0 yes by Concord Maroon in the winners portion of the bracket. Not exactly the closest set ever, but as soon as they got down to the losers bracket, they did find a 3-0 versus a very good Full Sail team, which lends me to believe that this Illini team is playing with some fever today.
Yeah, I mean, they're no joke, clearly. The fact that Full Sail, I think, got knocked out in being T12,
Yeah, top
that
12.
alone, that is insane. I mean, this team was so fantastic. They had actually given, GSU a very big competition and contest when they played them that best of fives during the regular season. We've been talking them up. They say, listen, don't sleep on this team. But, we heard some things earlier on in the day that maybe they went a little bit mental boom and had lost full, going in towards that matchup where they had gotten 3-0'd, where a lot of those games weren't actually that close whatsoever. Maybe the map number one where it was 250 to 190, but you look at the search 6-3, 164 to 137 to close out the map 3 set in the sweep. And Illini Orange, now heading in towards the top 8, they are definitely no joke. We know the squad has been able to go big on multiple different occasions during the regular season. We've seen it. We saw it on stream, and it looks like they've regained also off of their mishap that happened near the end of the season where things started to go wrong for them. So they're starting to pick things back up, and now this is really going to be a big test on whether or not all 5 players can actually consistently go up against the squad of Tespa Carleton. And Carleton has been so fantastic throughout this regular season, been upsetting a lot of big teams. So that will be the big question heading in towards it.
Well, let's take a look at these rosters side by side as we are about ready to jump into match here. But for Illini Orange, again, all 5 players have had great moments throughout. I'm just mostly looking at Carleton here because 47 and Hawk have really been the cash cows for this team as a whole, really kind of doing a lot of the work. Of course, both players relatively successful through their path to pro career so far this year. More 47 than I think Hawk, but still both of them have a lot of veteranship and experience behind it. I had a chance to sit down and talk with Hawk a little bit, before the playoffs had started, just to kind of ask him about this team. And he was saying, look, yeah, 47 and I are doing a lot of the work, but there's nothing to take away from Thief, Penguin, and Cashier, who have been essentially required to shoot X amount of bots per day. They jump through and do VOD review every single day. They sit and they strategize. They talk about things in a very constructive manner. And well, yeah, they're coming in as the 13th seed, but I think that, off the performances we've seen so far through these playoffs, this Carleton team, I think, has definitely earned a higher ranking than 13th overall.
I agree. And I mean, I think I said it very early on when we did the prediction show that this is the dark horse team for me. This is the team that's going to be able to upset a lot of others that think they might just have an easy passing towards the next round, where that likely will not be the case. And I mean, you take a look at some of the stats, and 6 overall and hardpoint 16, 3 search and destroy has been up and down here and there, but still holding a positive record, 12 and 4 and 7th, and their domination also has been fairly strong. So their respawn, I think, will be the really important game types to take up against Illini. But you look at their overall record right now within the playoffs, they are 3-1. They've had fairly good matchups leading in towards the playoffs, teams having 5-1 record, 3-1 in Dom. But you can see the search and destroy has definitely been the one that's a little bit back and forth and up in the air. So I have to see exactly if that practice that all this team has been putting into this upcoming week and coming off of the loss from last weekend, from what they've learned, is going to reflect now in towards the matchup up against Illini when we take a look at their stats, as they've been just as equally as dominant.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I would say this Illini squad has put on more of a surprising performance than I would have anticipated. If we date back to our prediction show, I had them losing to UT Dallas after their really scary set versus Purdue that they played at the end of the regular season. I wasn't feeling all that hot about this squad, but they've really turned up, and they've played very well in the last couple of, not just hours, but also the last couple of weeks. But again, their biggest woe is that domination. That's what I'm really looking at as being, kind of the ball breaker here between these two squads, because that was one of the modes that Carleton had struggled with in the regular season, a little bit more than other modes. But since they got into playoffs, both teams have done relatively well throughout their domination thus far. And so I'm interested to see what they have to offer when we eventually get there. But of course, we got to go through Hardpoint first and search and destroy it immediately after. It'll be Gunrunner up first for us here on the Hardpoint, a map that I'm sure both teams are not necessarily upset to see. I would say a little bit more favor leaning towards Carleton, as they overall are 7-2 on the map, where Illini are just 1-3.
1-3. We'll see if that changes to 2-3. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We're kicking off game number 1, elimination match. Whoever takes this series will advance to the next round. The player or the team that loses will be going home. Versa looks to hit a quick pinch right off the bat, and so now find a flank. We'll be able to piece together 1. Looks for 2, maybe even 3, as that's a good way to start off the very first initial break. And this is going to be the big thing, grabbing the time, but also looking to play for spawns. Player number 6 is a big opportunity shift to actually rotate all the way through and go for that flip, as well as player number 8. They've already pushed through, and they flipped at those spawns, as some of the Carleton players are starting to spawn deep fours.
Yeah, Scuffy in the back line is going to be a massive hindrance here to Carleton, as Thief will track him down just before he can get around a corner. So for now, the Illini have not really found too much. Yeah, they find that good spree of opening kills, but they only get 8 seconds worth of time in the first hard point. They don't really open up much of an opportunity to break through for the P2 spawns. With only 15 seconds up on this hill, Carleton looks to just mostly give this away and just hold their lines of sight in front of the second hard point to give themselves what will hopefully be a full 60 seconds here on P2.
Yeah, and this is actually not too bad for Illini. The fact that they're able to grab 30 seconds off this P1 hill is pretty massive, because even if they don't break, at least they won't be too far behind. But you definitely expect Carleton to be able to try and lock down some points. The spawns are not very close right now for Carleton, and in the back is going to be 47. He's not worried about the hill. He's making sure no one's going to actually pinch around the back, but now he wants to flood his resources right into the front of the hill. There's a player hopping up. He will find another one. So now he's 7-3. His teammates are locking down the time. 47's going to find the hip fire, and the wallbang will be good for a second, as he's now on the 3 spree altogether. And this is going to be Carleton holding down a strong setup and fending off Illini Orange.
Still 30 seconds to play. We're right in the midst of the contest 20 seconds that I like to call it, and the Illini will give it one more good go here, but or is there going to be enough? It's going to be a 1v1 for the scrap time. Shields takes it, and you can see both Carleton and the Illini are on the rotation towards P3, a 50-50 foot race initially, which is won by our team in green. And with that, the Illini will essentially have to just watch this rotation most likely come to a not favorable conclusion. Although they are working for the P5-sided spawns behind this warehouse, at least they were able to take a significant amount of time off the scraps, and they're still enjoying about a 10-point lead.
Close spawn is coming through for Illini Orange, and they're thinking a couple hard points ahead, as they'll have that favorite side leading in towards the money on P5, but Versa is going to turn and almost snap on. 47's there to finish off a 2-piece. So it will be Carleton at least grabbing the first initial time here in the first 20 seconds. It's going to be good, but the next push and the next wave, that's a break on through for Illini Orange as they're flooding on out. Grinch and Shields winning their one-on-ones, but Cashier will actually find himself a big 3-piece along with Thief, who also finds himself one. Both pushes have been just about shut down, but not before Grinch is able to grab himself a little bit of this scrap time. Will be pushed out from Carleton, so it looks like the remaining time might just go over, but this nade from Crit might end up being a 3-piece. Hawk will deny him the opportunity, so the scrap time goes over, and this will bring us just to about a tie game.
And again, for the Illini, you cannot allow Hawk to exist on this hard point while the rotation is coming through, because you're going to get cut up in the middle of the map, which is exactly what's happening here as Penguin finds 147. He'll take down 1 plus a second. Not able to get away with his life, but again, the job is done. 65-64 as Carleton take one of their first potential substantial leads here as we do go towards this cargo containers. A couple of trades back and forth will allow the Illini to try to make their first approach here to this hill for a potential break. Kills are turning up relatively favorable, but the respawns are here for Carleton. Now it's just a numbers game, of which Carleton has too many. And with that, the Illini will have to reset themselves up to try to break this one more time.
Well, it's looking really good. 47's 20-8 on a 4 spree. He's got 25 seconds in the hill. He's going to find kill number 5, kill number 6. 47 lighting it up in the feed. And this is the highlight player that's been trying to break through. I've cast it over so many times on land, online. He's not able to piece together another one in the back, but he's still got a lot of work done, and that nets Carleton a lot of time off of the cargo crates. But now you have to try and find a big rotation. It's a lot of orange that's now flooding in towards the kill feed. Grinch reads this perfectly as he's going to back up towards the minecarts and lock down the spawn that's coming through the left. But Carleton are going to make the shot call to all hit from the same side of the map, and they're going to push through the middle. They're getting close, and there's a player in the back that will be 47, and he can cause havoc if he wins these gunfights.
Yeah, more importantly, he's actually forced all of the Illini to come back from the cargo containers to get onto the hill and just try to recollect this. And with that, Carleton have found their way through the wood side, potentially hit the back, and Shields has just barely misread this player. Maybe not, actually, as he snaps over to Hawk and takes care of him. And with that, University of Illinois will kind of get some more legs underneath them here for the final 25 seconds. It'll be one more hit for Carleton, but they're actually going to send all 5 members to hit here, which will mean that Illini will have a free rotation for the P2 spawns, but it comes at a cost, and that cost will be 16 seconds of scrap time, which will tilt in favor of Carleton.
So they will have a cushion heading in towards the resets, but this has just been strong rotation so far from Illini Orange, holding on towards the favorite side when it's necessary to do so. Shields is going to hit a flank, and he's going to throw the dagger right into the back of Purple Penguin, who's going to get his ankles broke just a little bit. Shots in the back, so the trades are in from Cashier, who does find Shields. And this is going to be Grinch, who's played the spawns correctly, but while that happens, the time is definitely favoring the side of Carleton, as they're going to stack up a little bit. Cashier is actually getting himself on a bit of a spree, 16-5. Slow game for Thief at the moment, the air player for Carleton, but he needs to start to go big if he's going to be able to match the pressure from Illini Orange, where again, they have the favorite side shift. There's still 30 seconds up for grabs on this P1 hill, but you have to look to flip here in the next couple rotations.
46, 102, 20 seconds to fight over. Carleton again doing a really nice job after they had that 5-man hit the P5 to turn this into some significant time here in the center platform. Looks like the last 13 will be a little bit more heavily contested for the Illini, and now for Illinois, you have to, absolutely have to, zone Carleton away. You cannot get broken on this hill. Everything that you did over the last minute and a half has been in place of getting yourself set up for this second hard point. So can you hold things off? Great will make his way through the bathrooms to find not just one or two, but a third. Nearly finds himself a fourth up close and personal. That was 47, who is now actually the last player really left alive with Cashier to hit towards the back side of the munitions depot. A couple of kills will open up for Carleton, try to hit from the south side of this second hard point. Versa will read it, take down Cashier. That'll pinch up a couple of players who are now stuck in the back. Hawk from the top side of the Raptors will also be dealt with. And so far, so good for the Illini as they found the first 30 seconds.
First 30 are good, and now they're going to try to rotate. Carleton might look to go for the scrap time once again, but not without a little bit of contest. But there's the kills that do drop down, so they are going to win it. But there's another player that actually hits it there for the scrap time. I believe that was Scuffy who hits Cashier, so he's going to be able to grab the last 15 seconds, and now the rotation's coming out, but Hawk is shut down. Thief is in the back. He's been having a slow start, only 6 kills to his name with his assault rifle. He really is going to have to get himself in a position where it's not usually challenging the hill, but if he can get himself locked up right in front of one of these mine crates, then he will be in a good spot to start mowing players down. They're going to be running right in towards his line of sights, but no trophy is there, so he does get taken out with a nade. This will be Carleton grabbing the initial time here, holding strong in the first 15 seconds. They have the back spawn here from crates, so this will be the same spot they're in before. Now they need to try and find these kills, flood through, and hold on to some time.
Very tight game and a big moment here for the Illini if they can close out these last 30 seconds, which Carleton, again, will be feeling like they might want to give up considering where they're spawning and how they've got an easy rotation to P4. Here comes the last potential hit for Carleton. Cashier has dealt with 247. Cash and Penguin, though, all fall as Stuffy and Versa will find all 3 members in green right in front of the third hard point. And beyond that, the Illini have actually found a couple of members who have swung through the woods and are here to contest the early time of P4. Shields trying to play his life will be cut down. Now it's on Versa to pinch things up. He's not quite able to find the kill on the Purple Penguin, who will survive and see the initial time go the way of Carleton.
Will they be able to hold? The lead change might happen again, as it does. First player jumps on through. First fragger finds the kill, but the trades are just going to be back and forth for now. Watching for these multi-kills, as that's what's going to open up and give you a little bit of breathing room on pushing this on these players back into that deeper spawn by P2, but Cashier is just holding on towards all the time, bouncing around. The shots are out, but can't find crit as he's at, again, the entry fragger, but is unable to piece together more than one kill. But looking towards the back, we have player number 5 who's trying to cause havoc. That's gonna be Purple Penguin. He actually finds 2 big kills. Will he be able to find any more? He almost was able to cause a massive upset in the back, and this draws all the pressure away from the great still. So Carleton put themselves in a very great spot to getting closer and closer to close out this map number 1, and if they find a break, they might be able to just do it.
Again, the Illini have put themselves in a position to where they have to full hold on this 5th hard point just to potentially see this game get extended a touch further. They could technically win it here if they find a full 60. Keep that in mind, as Carleton, like you mentioned, only 11 points away from securing map number 1. Here comes the hit from the wood side. You've got number 8 in shields trying to cut people up from the middle of the map by the ADOM flag. He's found one, has an opportunity maybe for a second, and he does grab it. Purple Penguin has to stop in his tracks to turn around, which will give some time here for the Illini to reinforce the hill, but will they be here in time? It's a 1v1 for the hill at the moment, as 47, he's able to take down 2 players. And with that, Hawk Cashier will zone things out in front, and Carleton will get that break and take it 250 to 208.
Oh my Lord, I cannot emphasize enough how big 47 just went in that P5 hill in the remaining seconds. I mean, you can just see it. The scoreboard tells the whole story. 38 and 22, 10 defense to his name with almost a minute in the hill, but he goes on a spree at the end, just about single-handedly breaks that hill open, gives enough room for his teammates to follow that up. The reinforcements get in there, and Illini, they failed to get themselves into a strong setup like they did in that first set of rotations, where they were just locking it down and gained just about a full 60 off of it before it was broke for the remaining 15 seconds on scrap time. But that's a big first map that comes through for Gunrunner. Carleton will strike first, and that's got to be feeling good for some of these boys, as they're going to head in towards the search and destroy, where things might not necessarily get any easier.
And beyond that, again, this was Carleton's map pick. At least that's what we would figure based on the history and the stats that we have so far on these guys. So the fact that it was that tight, you're feeling a little bit lucky, like you mentioned, to get away with map number 1, where the Illini were about to maybe potentially upset you there. But like we see here, it is Arklov Peak for map number 2. This has been the one trick map for Illinois all season long. 15 and 2 in total on this map. Out of the 22 times they've played it, 17 of them have been on Arklov Peak. I mean, that's insane. I mean, how do they even let this map get through the map pool? If you're doing your homework, Carleton, you shouldn't have ever let this map get through. But it does, and now for the Illini, you have to win map number 2.
Yeah, you almost have to wonder, was there a map that Carleton's just so bad at that they can't stand playing it, that they'd rather risk playing the Arklov Peak? That's the only thing that almost comes to mind for me, because, you know, we did see Illini Orange lose this map at I think it was the very last streamed match of the regular season. I cannot remember the team that they went up against, but I do remember them losing it, and I think it was in Game 5 fashion. So you have seen them lose on it, but since then, I think this Illini Orange has come a long way on, you know, bouncing back when they were having some of those almost mental boom kind of issues near the end of the season, where things just started to go a little bit wrong for them. But they have now obviously got themselves to a top 8 placing, trying to now extend that even further to top 6. But I do agree with you. You have to obviously favor the side of Illini Orange for as far as this matchup. But we did see the side of Carleton actually go toe-to-toe with GSU, where they had almost pulled off an upset in that 3-1 overall series win against the Eagles, where they had went up 3-0 and then they started to lose it a little bit. So now it's really about getting yourself in a spot, if you do start to go up a couple rounds, remaining disciplined, not getting over eager, staying on track, following that game plan that you've been practicing throughout these weeks heading in towards this matchup, and trying to also, you know, figure out the Illini Orange team on the fly, because they have so much experience. We know their setups. We know they're good at breaking in towards both of these bomb sites. So I have to see if Carleton's done their homework or not.
Yeah, that's the big thing is, you know, we mentioned it. We talked about it at the top of the broadcast here for this match. Carleton has been putting in the work when it comes to, especially to respawn, but have they done that same kind of diligence on the search and destroy? And to be fair, I know you're going to go back in your history here, Visions. We were watching that Purdue-Illinois game when it was on this map, and we were both just sitting here like grabbing our monitors like, please play better, because it was real sloppy. But that said, the Illini have looked much better in their search and destroy really since the end of the regular season. It just comes down to, again, against this caliber of opponent in Carleton, can you continue to find that favor? That's my big question, because this is an Illini squad that did not look all that great the last time we saw them play it. I believe it was actually Butler that we saw, where they actually went to round 10. So your memory very good there, Visions, when it came down to the last time we saw these guys on stream. But that Purdue game also, I think, will forever be etched into our memories.
Well, Carleton on offense first in towards map number 2. They're going to bust right through it into the B bomb house, and looks like they're going to get it for free. No one's really in the house to actually try and find the player that's planting the bomb, but Shields has pushed out to the middle after hitting a deep left flank here. Will wrap around and actually combines with 2 onto 47 and Purple Penguin, and that's going to make things a lot harder for Carleton to try and defend.
Yeah, the numbers situation not great here, but you're in a position to where you might be able to find a couple of favorable kills, and as I say that, it does occur. Grinch trying to keep things in favor of the Illini, and Scuffy from long range will actually find a shot with the sniper, but again, Hawk is in a pretty solid position to watch over this bomb, but the timing of this peek, not great, as he's going to be challenged up close. There's one, there's two. Are you kidding me? That was the slowest double peek I've ever seen in Call of Duty.
You got this is a Peeker's advantage Call of Duty shift. My hands are literally up in the air right now. Like, Hawk just did that to you on round number 1. And I almost want to say he combined for at least 3 or 4 kills in that round. But my God, that is a round you gotta win for Illini Orange. But more importantly, you now have to shake that one off, saying, listen, guys, we should have had that, but let's reset. And yeah, it is 4 kills. That is one hell of a way to open up our Search and Destroy and Arklov peak in round number 1.
Unbelievable. I mean, again, the speed of that double peak was just not there. So Exhibit A of things that we don't love to see when it comes to the Arklov peak search, which, in case you've never listened to a cast with Visions and myself on this map, we sometimes get a little bit ahead of ourselves, just wanting to see cleaner gameplay, but nevertheless, here we are for a 1-for-1 trade as the Illini are trying to make their way into a B hit. Not a lot of success from the front door, so you're looking at Scuffy number 6, who's made his way through the cemetery over to the backside of the snowpath, maybe try to open up some opportunity, but he's just got a sniper rifle, and you don't really feel like he's going to try to enter into a bomb site with this.
That's going to make things very difficult for you. Scuffy has a chance to also maybe look to make the big play, as he is going to be on the flank. Well, first kill will come through. He's now regrouped with his teammate, so this is going to make things just a little bit easier to now find your clutch, but you're running low on time. You only have 20 seconds, and you still got to try and get that bomb down. 47 might rotate over. The sound cues are there, and Grinch will actually finish him off. So what was once a 4v2 is now down to a 2v2, and this A bomb site is actually completely open, and they can look for a plant.
Scuffy not able to quite get the shot in line. His timing is going to be tight. Cashier right here. He doesn't check the left immediately. Shot's a little shaky, but he eventually lines things up and will get the kill with the easy defuse. So now we're up 2-0 if you're Carleton. Everything has been to B essentially so far. At least off the rip, everything has been to B. And with Scuffy pulling out a sniper rifle, I'm just kind of wondering, at what point do you just try to trust him to lock things down at A, whether that is for a defensive hold or for an initial offensive look, but we'll see how things adjust here as we get in round number 3 and beyond.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting to see also this map kind of develop through favored bomb sites as we've went out through the regular year. You know, like I think Nagafen touched on it in an interview talking about how this map is now favored towards B due to the time change. When you had that extra 30 seconds, it made it a lot easier to work those picks at A and not feel as pressured to actually push things out when the clock gets low. But you no longer have access to that. But it will be Carleton to make the play call to go over towards our A bomb site, seeing if maybe they'll try and match the sniper pressure. And this might be an opportunity for Scuffy to finally get something going for himself. He's been praying, I'm sure, for someone to peek him on some of these long-range crosses, but the shots have gone down, the stuns are out, so the information is there for Illini, but the first blood does come through for Versa.
Watch Versa make this play. He's going very quickly at that kill up the middle of the map to try to flank, but Thief is kind of behind him. Timing will favor that of the Illini. Versa, has he actually scouted out Thief? Man, it sure looks like he has. He's playing as if he has the information. Here comes the challenge. Versa gets smoked, though. Goodness, what is that peek from Thief? He needed to find the kill, and he does. It is still a 3-on-4 situation in favor of the Illini as Carleton try to push a little bit further up the trench, but think the better of it. Now look to make their way back up the ramp over towards A completely, but Thief has to get here. He's got to help watch over the top of this site, you think, sooner rather than later.
47, he finds crit. And yeah, you're going to have to hit this very, very fast. And Purple Penguin, well, he's the one with the bomb, so he's going to have to be the one that entries in. He's got a teammate behind him, but there's the snipe from Scuffy, and Grinch is right on the head glitch from the bomb. So Thief looks to hit a flank as they were maybe looking to coordinate some kills that would have maybe dropped down to Carleton's favor. And now it might be a kill that comes in for Thief, but he has obviously got no time to find the second player who plays his life in the top hostile. So that's the first round on the board for Illini Orange, where they're going to hold things out, and that will be a strong defensive hold for them at the first push from Carleton over to A.
All right. What next? What is the next offer going to be here in this game of chess? And that's the question for the Illini, really, in my mind, is they will be on their second attack. And I'm looking at Scuffy. Where are we going to set up our sniper rifle? Because last time through, he played all the way through Cemetery on his offense. And it looks like the Illini once again will go over to B. We saw them do this a lot versus Butler and a lot versus Purdue. Looks like they're going to keep it with their tried and true strategy. Carleton has yet to put a single player out here near the Cemetery. And with that, a lot of favor going in towards Scuffy's scope. Spamming the doors, making sure nobody's holding close. No hit markers, so we're good to get in, says the Illini. Thief has actually made his way over to the snowpath. It doesn't look like either him or Scuffy are aware of each other's positions, rather, I should say. Nade over to the top. That might actually connect. It sure does, right into his back pocket. 47 is also scouted for a moment, so Scuffy not really liking his angle. Will move a little bit further back, and the bomb will be planted behind that opening pick.
47 desperately needs to get rid of this sniper player, but he doesn't want to overpeak now that he actually has a sniper. He's been spotted. This is a tough shot to hit. While this happens, the Carleton members are just falling apart on the map. Luckily, 47 does find that player, and Cashier also finds one kill, gets away with his life. It's a 2v2. You have 20 seconds to work with, and you got to get the defuse. 47 is going to have to find this kill. He finds the snap, but the kills aren't there. Cashier now just going to try and stick the defuse, but I don't think there's enough time. This should always come out. Lasering around the rows. He finds one, but will not be able to peek out and find the sniper player himself. So Illini Orange maybe cut it a little bit close in that 5v3, but nonetheless, they still close it out, and they're going to bring it to 2-2.
That was way too close. I mean, again, you saw where the plant position was. It's behind the bomb site, prospectively from the top of Blue House, and both players for the Illini were playing from the Blue House as if they were going to clutch things up from that side of the map. So tense moment there, but the Illini will see the round come into their favor, so we'll go 2-2 in the round count. 6-3 so far for Hawk, 5-3 for Cashier. Top leaders currently on their team, while Scuffy's still sitting at 5-2. He has found a good amount of value with the scope thus far. As this time around, that trophy's actually maybe not in the greatest of spots. I don't believe it's going to take away any nades that are going to fall in front of it for where those boxes are placed. But regardless, Carleton not getting too heavily tagged up by anything incoming from the Illini. Hawk try to walk through the broken building. We'll see a trophy and deal with it quickly. That's going to allow for a potential second surge of nades to come through. And there they go. There's a couple Semtexes coming over the top. Hawk is considering doing one of his own, but goes to the M4. Grinch wins the first battle for first blood, but Penguin will get the trade back 4v4 we go.
They're trying to force this push over towards A. It didn't work out last time, and it's not looking too hot at the moment. They're at a man disadvantage, and there's only 30 seconds to try and actually get this bomb down. This could be 3 rounds straight for Illini Orange if they're able to play this out correctly. And 47 gets the sound cue in the middle of the map. Shots go down, but now you're really low on time. Versa has a flank as they've had to put all the resources on looking at who's in front of you. Andy does actually drop down in the middle, but the bomb planner has now been dealt with. Versa just needs to play his life. 47 is just praying that he actually goes for a peek once again, and well, it looks like he will. That will be a kill that ends up dropping down. Versa, who was on the flank, is going to be in a 1v2 with 40 seconds to try and work this out.
And if he just had an angle on the bomb site from a little bit higher up, he would have stopped the plant. There wouldn't have been enough time for 47 likely to make a follow-up play, but now shoes on the other foot as Versa has already hit the dead silence, making a play from what is essentially the flank. 47 reads him from the back alleys, and that'll be enough for Carleton to take back another round and go up 3-2.
Oh, what a clean round that just came through. I think that's a round again. Illini Orange kind of have to close out just like that very first round. You look back to those rounds where they have man advantage shift, and this could be a totally different ballgame if they're able to close things out like they should. But of course, that's not how Call of Duty always plays out for us. So we'll be 3-2. Carleton on track to maybe go 2-0 up, but we'll see exactly what the plan of attack is going to be for Illini Orange. They put all the resources in towards the right side, despite trying to bring the sniper out here and there from Scuffy when they are looking to make these rounds. But the bomb carrier is actually going to make a quick left turn as player 0. That will be Versa, who just decides to go in towards the Blue House to see if he can maybe work out a pick and watch the middle push. Hawk is just going to blow away crit off that egg glitch there. Is going to take him down immediately, and that's going to give Carleton a little bit more cushion and comfort in this defensive round.
Yeah, and the smoke you saw trying to come out for the Illini actually got ate up by a trophy system. So now all of a sudden you are essentially forced to rotate this bomb back over towards B, as the approach to A is dangerous and won't be concealed at all. And with Versa making some room in the front yard, he's actually going to take this advantage and make his way up to the second floor. Hawk deals with Grinch. That's actually back over towards A. So in this 3v5, everything hinging on the University of Illinois to find success, maybe a couple of response kills here in the middle of the map. Versa will see Cashier come from behind. He really needed to get that pick. And now all of a sudden, Carleton will 100% know the bomb is making its way to B. And with the numbers rotating, this is not looking good for the Illini.
Thief inside, finds one player. He jumps out for two, but Scuffy will take him out with the sniper. Looks for a second peek, but Purple Penguin right there from his side. And now it's all up to Versa. He's caught in a 1v4, has to plant the bomb. This is just a near impossible situation. Carleton going to clutch up once again. They're going to put themselves up by 2 rounds. Illini Orange on their best map, not seeing them play their best at the moment. And this is where things start to get a little bit tense. Shift, you might start to panic, start to call those fast, risky plays and see if they pay off for you. But so far, so good for Carleton.
So far, so good indeed. For the Illini, man, not lying to you, Austin, when I tell you that I really want to see them try to set themselves up, not just offensively, but also defensively around the scope of Scuffy. They just, especially on the attack, it just doesn't feel like they've really gotten a lot of value off Scuffy's kills. Yeah, he has found kills, but most of them haven't really been of any significance towards the actual take of these sites. This time through, Carleton quick on their horse to get over to B, as there will be first blood for Hawk. Scuffy will toss one nade into the front lawn, which will find Purple Penguin. But 47 will recollect the bomb and make his way over. And Cashier, timing of him giving up this window peek has been atrocious. I say that, and you thought for sure Illini were going to find the kill, and they actually get 47 instead of Cashier, which I guess you take. But still, that's not a significant win for the Illini. Even though they do have numbers, the bomb will be planted behind this. And keep your eye out for Thief, who's making a long rotation through A. And as long as Hawk and Cashier can hold off this bomb site, this pinch is going to be extraordinary for Carleton.
Yeah, he's going to get some good timing here. You have to assume he's got the Deddy pops. He's going to see one player, and there it is, a little bit too close. But he does find the kill, and now he just needs to play his life because Illini Orange now worried about this player looking for the flank. And Thief is actually combined with 2 good shots from him. Hawk finds 1, and Scuffy is now all alone. That sniper that we brought up earlier in the round, he's going to have to try and make a miracle happen, but it will not happen. Carleton are going to find 3 rounds straight, and they're just 1 more away from going 2-0 up in the series.
Yeah, I mean, you see the shadow play coming through here for Cashier, actually making sure we do it as he follows the shadow with the motion from Scuffy. But again, for Scuffy, I just don't understand why he's playing out there at that point in time. You know, he wasn't the only member there defensively at B. Carleton has put 0 pressure towards the cemetery at all, whether it's on the attack or on their defense. And yeah, he finds a pick and he's 8-5, but these kills have turned into essentially nothing for the Illini so far. So as we get to Carleton's potential final defense, they're going to try to set up Scuffy in the trench line. A couple of nades will come by, and there is a player in this little bush, but Scuffy will not be able to see him, not quite enough. How about this? Of course, I talked about how Carleton hasn't been putting anybody in cemetery. Now they've got Thief actually going all the way out there, as I believe he realizes that Scuffy likes to play from this angle, trying to meet him in the battlefield in a 50-50 engagement, but he will not be awarded the opportunity. Purple Penguin holding close on the backside of the trench. He's got 2 members in front of him trying to guard over at A, and again, this trophy system is becoming a headache. This is no information at all for the Illini, and with that nade coming over the top, oh goodness, 47 knew exactly where Scuffy was, but one of his 9 lives will just be expired as he lives with about 1 HP.
If you're Illini Orange, you're going to have to make a play, and your hand's about to be forced, especially now that 47 found the first kill. The trades are raining down. 47 finds 2. Shields is going to pop up for a kill. This is going to open up the A side a little bit more as Versa's now wrapped all the way around in the back. This was another Scuffy kill that comes out, so man advantage over towards Illini Orange. Scuffy finds 2 as he picks up an assault rifle, and Thief, the man who made the deep flank through cemetery, now will hit the middle of the map as he goes through broken, has to cut through 3 different members. Not a whole lot of time to work with, and he won't even have a shot at 1. So Illini Orange going to keep things going, going to stay alive in map 2 and find the 3rd round.
It's a big collapse again. You mentioned it, Versa finding his way through the middle of the map all the way behind Carleton was really the linchpin of success of this round here. But what else is in the mix here for the Illini? They still have to win another 3 rounds straight. Have to be 4 in total. If you can't tell by the connotation of my voice, my hopes and odds not really all that favorable for the Illini to do just that. But anything can happen. Again, this is the Illini Orange team. Again, this is their best map. So if they were going to be able to do it anywhere, you hope it would be here. But so far, it's been mostly just Carleton all the way through this. Nades ceremoniously so will be tossed over. Actually, the Semtex connects. Smoke will block over the trench, and you feel like with that information, someone should be going quickly for Carleton just to try to at least get an opening angle, and it's going to be 47 trusted to do just that.
Purple Penguin, man that everybody said had to step up heading in towards playoffs. 6 kills to his name, finds first blood in what could be the closeout round for Carleton. We've been seeing them, though, wait too patiently. And sometimes when you wait this patient, it allows Illini Orange or the opposing team on defense to find the opening pick. Thief is not messing around on the flank anymore. Shields, I don't think so. Takes him out. Now it's just 3 remaining members. Scuffy, Grinch, Crit, all are going to have to go absolutely massive. Scuffy has 11 kills to his name, rather. Might have to find 13 or 14 if they're going to be able to actually get themselves this round. But the bomb's got to go down, and Carleton are playing with fire at the moment, Shift.
They're waiting on Thief to hit this flank, and number 9 and Crit is actually watching this. He finds a kill just as Grinch finds Cashier from the front. Bomb will be planted behind the cover of smoke,
oh my God,
but the exit will not be there. A 3v5 now turned the opposite direction for a 3v2 for the Illini. But 47 and Hawk are the last 2 players alive, and they might as well be 2 in their own selves. Hawk able to find the first. Please do not continue to solo chow here if you're Illini. Crit's got dead silent. He's not going to try to make a play. There's another solo challenge in as Hawk find the double. Now it's again Scuffy by himself with a sniper rifle. And he's going to try to defuse this. There's no chance he's going to be allowed to. 47 pops up to check, and Carleton take it 6-3.
They take them out 6-3. Carleton now go 2-0 up in the series. You take a look at that scoreboard. Hawk, he's the man that goes big and search and destroy. You see everyone else just holding their own, pulling their weight, and that's what you need from a playoff team roster that's going to make a deep run through this loser's bracket or even through the winner's bracket. You need everybody firing on all cylinders. That's exactly what happens. That's not what happens, though, for Illini Orange. It's really just Scuffy that finds some success with the sniper rifle in hand, but everybody else just not able to kind of have that exact same type of play that we just saw from Carleton. And well, that last round was a little bit shaky on both sides. Yeah. I think planting at the last 20 seconds was a little bit interesting, but seeing them go down the way they did, and then Illini Orange having the man advantage and kind of throwing that one right back away. So mistakes on both sides, but Carleton still got to be happy with closing things out and heading in towards this domination, just being 1 map away from advancing to that next round.
Indeed the case. So it's going to be Hackney Yard for the domination. But of course, while we were setting everything up for the playoffs, we had a chance to kind of sit down and pick the brain apart of Hawk as far as how this team has looked, what they've been able to do since the inception of this Carleton roster. And here is that interview from earlier in this week.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are back with another interview here. I am joined by Carleton's own Hawk. Man, it is so fantastic to have you here in this interview too. And it's been a fantastic ride through the season for you all. Seeing your Stampede through your division, it has been a fantastic run and all the way into playoffs too, to where I hope to continue to see you all into the weekend in the later days, such as Saturday and Sunday. And just speaking of that too, there's a lot of experience with yourself and 47. What did it take to enable the other 3 members to get on the same page?
Thanks for having me, Proper. I appreciate you guys having me on the show. But yeah, there is a lot of experience with myself and 47 previously in past Call of Duties, especially at the competitive level. But I think people don't really give enough credit to the skill that we have in Team Thief, Cash, and Penguin. Like, they're all like, they maybe not have the same elite talent as like 47, like that guy's insane, but they are good individual players. It just took a little bit of grooming as far as where to be on the map, as far as like hard points and rotating. But all 3 of them have like played GBs before, like S&D GBs. And Cash actually played a little bit of wagers too, so it's not like they're completely new to S&D. But yeah, it took a little bit of grooming in the respawns. But they're all like super dedicated. Like, they play the game a lot. They shoot 1K bots a day. Like, those guys play the game. They love it. They want to get better, and they're all good dudes as far as like they want to learn. Like, they're telling you, like if they on the map they don't know what's going on. Like, yo, like Kyle, yo Andy, like where should I be here? Where should I go there? Or if they mess something up, like right away, it's like, okay, next time I'll do that. Not like, oh, like don't tell me what to do. Like they're very, very good as far as listening and like adapting.
And you're able to see that through the progression through the season too, and it kind of led up all the way into that very tight series versus GSU, the Eagles COD, and being able to take that hard point on Gunrunner, that was absolutely fantastic. And to what you were saying too with Cash and Purple Penguin being able to show up in a multitude of angles on this entire series was amazing. It was close, 223 to 250 on Azir Cave, Student to Follow, 5-6 loss on Arkloff Peak, and then a 143 to 152 on Domination Hackney Yard. I want to get your reactions on that set as a whole.
Yeah, it was a close series. It was one we would have loved to have won, obviously, but those GSU guys are they're super talented and they're undefeated all season, so you got to give them credit where credit's due. But yeah, it was a close series, and I'd like to get a rematch, like a little one or two things go our way here or there, and we could be sitting pretty in the winners bracket, but it's all good.
Yeah, definitely. With Georgia Southern is facing LA Tech, to where you would assume that they're going to be facing either. Well, that's actually going to be a pretty close one too, in between Humber and Penn State. We'll see how that one plays out too.
Yeah.
But, down into the losers bracket, it's going to be a pretty grueling task for yourself and your team to make that run back all the way through. How are you going to get past those potential matchups with Purdue, Texas A&M? You got Full Sail in the mix there too, and more to reach the top four or even the grand finals.
I think actually it was really good for us how the CCL split up into 2 different weekends for playoffs, giving us like we ended up having I think 3 losers matches last weekend, and that was like a little bit of a grind like to close out the night. But now we're like sort of refreshed, regrouped, and we're just viewing it as we're playing a single elimination tournament. Let's just go out and win our matches. And I think like specifically like match by match, just win one at a time. And I think like we're gonna play a lot of very good teams. Like I don't think Purdue is gonna beat Texas A&M personally, so I think we're pretty much gonna be playing Purdue. I'm not to shit on those guys, but they ain't beating TMU. But so yeah, I think we're gonna get Purdue first, and if we can win our hard points against Purdue. I know they struggle a little bit in S&D, and I would say that's one of our stronger modes. So if we can win our S&Ds and then take a respawn off them, I think we can get through. And then from there, all our matches are going to be tough. We don't know who we're going to end up with after that, but I have faith in the boys, and I think we can make a good run into Saturday.
The competition after losers round 4 is definitely going to heat up for you all too, and I can't wait to see how far Carleton's going to be going. So good luck in the rest of your matches throughout the rest of the weekend, Hawk. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you very much, Robert. See you on the stream, baby.
Probably one of the most Canadian interviews that I've heard since the NHL was put onto a pause, but we'd love to see it from Hawk. Visions, you were saying before he got on cast that Hawk is definition like true Canadian blood, and if you didn't know before that, you definitely probably know after hearing that. Much love though to Hawk, as he again has been one of the mainstays of this team, and him and 47 together, like he mentioned in this interview. We're really again knowing that we've got some talented guys, but they need a little bit of extra help, a little bit of extra guidance to get to the level that we need them to be a top contender. And well, so far in this series, they've shown that all of that work has paid off so far.
Yeah, all that work has paid off, and we also saw Hawk saying, they want that rematch. They want to go up against GSU once again. And he talks about how 1 or 2 of those things go a little bit different in that first series, and that's easily, a map that swings the way of Carleton, and maybe we see a game number 5, but not the case. I mean, we know the Eagles are definitely a tough team by all means, but we might just see them play that rematch once again, but not before we get in towards our third map on Domination, which will be Hackney Yard. So a little bit of chaos about to unfold for you, as we'll see if Carleton can get themselves an early lead heading in towards this favored side on towards Hackney Yard. And 2 players have actually been able to gun it right up the middle of the map. Shields wins his 1-on-1 in the 47 as well. So there's a chance that if Thief loses this gunfight into Versa, that things could open up and erupt into a potential flip right away. But they're going to deal with him. They're going to be able to scout all those players, but now they have to fight for warehouse control.
Yeah, both teams have done well in this map in the playoffs thus far. Illinois previously beating both Full Sail and UT Dallas here, while Carleton was able to take down Purdue most recently earlier today on this map. So like you mentioned, with Carleton holding on to the A side, they will eventually make their move towards B. High State actually coming out will tag up a number of players. A stun to follow. Cash able to take down one of Shields, but the Illini are not giving up this hit yet, as playoff Crit and Scuffy will combine for 4. And just as soon as Carleton get a good hold on the B flag, capture-wise, it'll turn right back around in the favor of Illinois, although 47 is actually able to collide up 2 kills. And while that play has happened, take a look at your mini-map. It's Thief. He's stolen away the C flag.
I'm always so hesitant about when teams on good side go for the C flag, but the spawns are still coming in at the moment, but this could easily flip that kill right there from Hawk. Finding 3, literally probably just saved the good side here for Carleton because those spawns might have just popped on towards A. But this has now drawn back a couple of the players on Illini Orange to secure themselves the home flag. B has been pretty much up for grabs this entire minute and 30 seconds in towards the very first side of domination. No team really able to get in towards a strong home flag and B setup. Hawk is going to keep this streak going as he's 8-3. He's 9-3. Comes off the interview, and well, he's got something to say on screen as well, as he's going to be able to get some assistance. He hops on the B flag, and finally Carleton are going to hold 2 flags.
But for how long? Because take a look at the top side of your minimap. There was Versa trying to sneak through to A, which means that there's going to be a pinch onto the B flag here from the Illini. And back and forth we go. The tug-of-war game is starting to get a little bit frustrating, I feel like, for Carleton, as for a moment they spawned to the top side of the office by this green office building, and they were considering making a play back over to C again, but you don't want to do that. Not at all. Not until you get a full hold of this middle of the map and the B warehouse. 1v1 for the warehouse will be won by 47, but quickly to come in as Versa and deal with it. So still, it's a tie game, 32-32. We're in the second quarter of this half, and for the Illini, you love everything about how this is played. Maybe it's not the greatest half in the world because you haven't gotten a flip, but you've got the lead from the unpreferred side early.
I was about to say, if you're new to the Call of Duty Modern Warfare, you might just think C might be the favorite side, but I promise you that is not the case. Carleton just struggling at the moment to get any kind of a foothold in towards the very first side. The last 3 minutes have been just a lot of chaos, a lot of trading, and no real hold. But finally, we're seeing a 2-cap held in the unfavored side. They got a good setup inside of Warehouse, and now Carleton are about to flood on through with their next push. But Shields will shut down the first one. Gash is there with the trade, but we'll have to follow up with a few more as there is players just hugging just about every corner that will allow you an entrance in towards the Warehouse. So it is not going to be easy. Gash is now going to back up because they got a player inside of green that do not want to flip through so that he can have that favorite side. Big win from Crit as he's just going to beam Cash here right on top of the crate. And while this is starting to get a little bit scary at the moment, you have been able to get any kind of control, and the call is now going to be to overextend and go for C. But if you're the side of Illini Orange, you should just be calling to push through here and try to get yourself the A flag.
That's not the call, though, as Crit actually backs away to try to secure this C flag, which if he wins the gunfight, now that Shields has made his way forward for 2, this could actually lead to a potential triple cap, although Carleton have realized the folly of their decisions. Will recollect themselves in the A flag, and we'll just make sure they hold on to the spawns for now. But again, Thief is just sitting right outside of C, waiting for someone to try to recapture it for the Illini. Likely that'll be the trigger for him to go for a kill, and then maybe try to secure this with 45 seconds left to play. There is the committal, but Thief doesn't win the gunfight. We'll now trade to the pistol, and now the Illini will find a way to retake their home flag. But while that all occurs, Carleton have made their way into the warehouse, and they'll finally get an AB hold, but it comes way too late in the half as they're down 56-68 with 30 to play.
Yeah, it feels like the only time they're able to make a play on B is when Hawk opens up with multiple big kills. And he's going to stay on a spree as he's going to find 16 in the very first half. So he's obviously having himself a very strong game, but the rest of the team not able to match what he's been doing. And well, someone's going to have to start picking up the slack, as that is the sloppiest first side, I think, of Hackney domination that I have personally seen on the favorite side. We'll see a couple more points that end up going through, but at the end of the day, this is going to be Illini Orange in a fantastic spot, being 2-0 down, just going to be hanging on to an 8-point lead coming off of the unfavored side. They are in a great spot to keep this series rolling if they can do exactly what they just did in the second side that did in the first.
Yeah, you know, I won't necessarily say it's the sloppiest first half from the favorite side because they never get rid of the A flag. They just had a really tough time in the middle of the map. And, you know, I like to usually see when you've got SMGs with the strength that Carleton has, you got to try to hit the middle of the map and wrap the top side of L and just try to take some convincing control of the warehouse. And it seemed like more often than not, it was actually the AR players that were trying to work their way into the B warehouse. So just a weird commitment there from Carleton as far as what the roster. This is the play that I'm talking about. Shields, he works in the middle of the map. He finds one. He should find a second. He does. And that wraparound from the Illini will allow them a free capture of B right off the rip.
And now Carleton, well, they're going to have to battle back just like they were doing, but this time they're not going to have that A flag right behind them. The smokes are out, so they're going to bust on through. Thief does find the first one, and Now you're going to maybe look to Hawk to see if he can find that big opening, but Shield is going to go for the
Risky.
overextension play. This is very risky. We'll see if it pays off for him, as I'm sure he will just go for the neutralization and play his life. The spawns are coming through on green right now for Carleton. They have a chance to push through. That gunfight is won, and there's the flip. So that's the risky call. That didn't end up happening there for Carleton on the very favorite side when they made that overextension. And now player number 3 is actually going back to maybe cap this or just play for his life. So as long as things don't flip out, they'll be fine. But all 3 members from Illini Orange are going to now backtrack. 47 has a chance to go big, but he's unable to piece together more than one. So the C flag going to be just up in the air, neutralized. No one's going to cap it. Thief is not going to win his one-on-one, or rather, I think that was Hawk. So this is going to be now a 2-cap, be in hell of Carleton, and well, this is what I like to call getting hackney yarded.
Yeah, the spawns a little bit all over the place. It's been one of those things that on Hackney, it's been controversial domination map, as the spawns typically get a little chaotic once we start seeing those OE plays come through, but it looks like Carleton have mostly received that damage and have held off. And now they're in a position to where they actually have good control of this B warehouse. But look at these 2 players inside. For Hawk and Purple Penguin, neither of them are coming back to help over towards A. So as the gunfights are won by Versa and Scuffy, they can immediately flip this back around. And it's just, Carleton's, I feel like they're just not reading their numbers well enough at the moment. When they're in situations where it's 3v5s, nobody's moving. No one's coming back to set up where they need to be set up at. And with that, it's also leading to more chaos, as the Illini will have a brief moment here of triple capture on the map.
The spawns do come through for A, so Carleton have a chance to stay on this favorite side, and there's still lots of time to play with, but it has been very back and forth. So Thief is now going to hop on this A flag. No one is there to get him off of it, so warehouse control is going to be the goal. 47 is going to find 2, and he's actually combined for 4 kills in a row. Hawk finds 2 big kills in the middle of the map, and 47 will keep this spree going, as he will find 5. Make that 6. Hawk and 47, the 2 big anchor players of this roster, going to go big in the last couple moments, and they have a big opportunity if they can get themselves into a setup where they're holding 2 flags to actually start to get this comeback and slowly mount their way back into it. But it's all off the back end of these players playing in the middle, like you mentioned and highlighted very early on their shift.
And you got to be watching, because Team Thief, once again, being the thief that he is, looking to make a play over to see. He's going to cut the middle of the map, watch for anybody spawning by yellow, doesn't quite track down Gridge. And with that pressure alleviated in the middle, the Illini will once again work their way into the B warehouse. In the back hit of a couple of great kills. Now it's Gridge that's posted up top office. He's going to detonate over 1, plus a second. 47 will be tagged up, but he does still win the gunfight. But while all this has occurred, the Illini have found their way to reflip the B flag. It's a 5-point margin, 90 seconds to play. And Carleton, again, can you correct some of those early game mistakes in the first half? Can you control the middle of the map and get into a position where you can convincingly win this warehouse and give yourself a reflip of the win?
Purple Penguin, he just found 2 entry kills to make sure no one's able to get on top of this flag and take the player off of it. Big plays from him as A and B will flip back over. There's 1:10 on the clock, so you have more than enough time to mount this comeback. Purple Penguin will combine for 3. He's had a slow start to this domination, but if you're heating up in the final moments, that's all that matters. 3 points separating these teams. Now 2. C might also be capped. This is going to be very interesting because the spawns now, I have no idea where they're about to come through. They might unfold, and we could see the favorite side go back over to Illini Orange as they're hopping on A, but it will be the green spawn that they're getting, and Carleton are starting to get themselves a good cushion heading into the last 40 seconds.
Versa wins the first gunfight, trying to get the second, won't be able to do it. And if you're number 8, you're going to look at shields. You've got to capture this C flag. You need a flag, doesn't matter where it is on the map. Just grab the flag. Try to get yourself in a position where you can still come back. 30 seconds left to play. And unfortunately, with the total that's currently there, I don't believe even a triple cap will get the job done. Not to mention the fact that the Illini have not been able to work their way to A or to B. And somehow, some way, Carleton will find a way to clutch up map number 3 right when it mattered most. Like you mentioned, it was a pretty wild start to this one in the first half as a whole. Even the second half had some pretty wonky moments for Carleton. We mentioned how this is one of their weaker modes, but this time they clutched things up at the total of 153 to 132. .3-0 sweep comes through for Carleton, as they will be confirmed to go into the rematch up against Georgia Southern to see if they can try and get revenge
and close out the series that they think they could have closed out when they played them the first time.
Yeah.
Just a couple of things just went a little bit wrong for them, so they were unable to get it done. But this is going to be very, very interesting to see if they are going to have enough in the tank. But coming off of this series and beating Illini in this fashion after they just came off of a 3-0 win themselves, taking out some very big favorites, the 5th seed coming in towards the playoffs being FSU, Full Sail getting knocked out, and again, in convincing fashion in some of those maps looking back on those scores. So the fact that Carleton were able to deal with them for overall just not having too much of a hard time, that's got to give you some great motivation and going in towards that next match against GSU. But that one, that's going to be a banger shift.
Yeah, it's going to be a great one. It's a rematch, but I do want to bring up that one point that we were talking about where the chaos kind of existed in the middle of the map for the side of Carleton. Just watch exactly what the Illini do here as they start to come off the rip. This is where things get really interesting because for the Illini, they're keeping one player in the back to watch the OE. The other ones are going to hit through the middle and try to work their way to the warehouse. And nobody from Carleton at all is going to watch any part of the middle of the map, which leads to essentially an absolutely 100% free backflank. This is the first step of what needs to be many. If you're on the favored side, you need to be in a position to where you're essentially sitting here and you're finding value, getting into the mix here, just doing what you can to try to work your way through the middle of the map. And, well, that just never seemed to be the case for the side of Carleton, as they just never got the work that they needed to in the middle of the map. And you can see it again, this next hit that comes through for the side of the Illini. Once again, they work the middle of the map, and this time they come to the top side of L. That's going to lead to a free pinch. The reinforcements start to come in from behind this, and that's where things kind of once again go a little bit wrong for Carleton. That's where they need to start boning things up. That's the communication that needs to get there, and that's one thing in specific that I think they're really kind of missing when it comes down to how they're playing this domination outright. They do eventually win out the middle of the map later in that second half, but that's the one thing that really kind of stuck out into my mind as far as things that went wrong for Carleton in that first half and why they came in off of the preferred side with a deficit, which is never what you want to see.
No, definitely not what you want to see. And the fact that they were able to bring things back and kind of have that chaos work out in their favor in a sense where they were still going for the overextension plays, but finding a triple cap for a quick moment and then bouncing back, seeing the flood come through. The spawns were everywhere, but they were able to adapt and chase the red dots, I'm sure, as that's probably what you have to do in a situation where you have no idea where people are spawning. But they come out on top. They're able to grab the 3-0 and again move on towards the top 6, where they will play Georgia Southern and go up against the Eagles for a second time. But that's not the only big match that we'll have coming up. We got another big one here, Shift, which is going to determine who's going to get their ticket right in towards the grand finals.
Yeah, the winners finals will be our final match of the evening that we're broadcasting. That one is supposed to be slated to start right now, but we'll be pausing that in order, I believe, to get Georgia Southern and Carleton on stream as initially was planned. And I believe Concord Maroon and Penn State White are right about to kick off on the Bravo channel, which you can find at twitch.tv/collegecod Bravo. So do not miss any of the action. We are with our final 6 teams, but in the next hour and a half, we'll be down to 4. And Championship Saturday, that starts tomorrow. You're not going to want to miss it, as we'll be dealing with the losers semis, the losers finals, and the grand finals in that order on the broadcast right here. So make sure you follow along with what's going on here with College COD. And if you're someone out there who's sitting here saying, how do I participate? I go to college or about to go to college. I want to be able to participate with my school. Well, A, you double check to make sure your school has a team. And if they do not, make sure you follow up with us to see how you might be able to start a team at your college, whether it's by esports club or if it's a varsity program included into your athletic system that's already built into university. We can try to do what we can to help you get one started. So make sure you follow along with us, not only here on Twitch, but also at College COD on Twitter. And most importantly, get in touch with us on Discord. Any of our staff and management members are open to talk to anybody that wants to try to get involved. Of course, this is the conclusion of our regular season, but I'm hoping, I don't know, but I'm hoping that we've got some other tournaments and maybe mini series lined up through the summer going into the fall, as we typically do, kind of have a farewell and introduction tournament as we transitions from one game to the other. But for now, we'll step away, take a small pause, and we come back. We'll have more College COD playoffs on the backside of this break.